Xavier, a 35-year-old man, had always lived alone ever since he moved out of his university dormitory upon graduation. Back then, he could easily be categorized as a bookworm, dedicating endless hours to reading and honing his skills. Relationships, on the other hand, were never his forte. While those around him embarked on whirlwind romances, Xavier remained the attentive scholar, fully committed to his studies. By his second year, he had even taken up a part-time job at a company, further solidifying his commitment to his future career. Unsurprisingly, Xavier's ambition was to be recognized as an expert in his field. His ascent to success was swift, catapulting him into the limelight and subsequently leading to a steady stream of wealth. With this newfound prosperity, Xavier treated himself to a luxurious car and a splendid dwelling, but he remained modest in his appearance and demeanor. Around the same time, Evelyn entered Xavier's life. She was a tall, slender woman, possessing a truly model-like beauty. Some of his friends speculated that her sudden interest in a man 15 years her senior could be explained by her attraction to his fancy car. However, Xavier dismissed their conjectures. His thoughts were solely fixated on the young beauty who had chosen him. Given that he had never been showered with attention from the fairer sex, this unexpected treasure captivated him completely. He lavished her with affection and catered to her every need. For the first time in his life, he experienced the unfamiliar sensation of jealousy. He felt a deep-seated fear that others would be enticed by her allure, challenging his claim on this extraordinary prize. One day, he tells his friends that he is finally getting married. You can imagine how shocked they were, to put it mildly. They had already caught a glimpse of Evelyn and formed their own opinion about her. His friends cautiously tried to dissuade Xavier from marrying her, but he was adamant. He was afraid of losing her and saw marriage as a way out of a difficult situation. The couple arranged an extravagant wedding, as Evelyn wanted, and then flew to exotic islands. After their return, Xavier worked even harder. Now the responsibility for providing for his young wife fell on his shoulders. He wanted her to have no shortage of anything. On the other hand, she could relax and say goodbye to work. Since she studied by correspondence, she was not in danger of exams, which allowed her to fully enjoy a carefree existence. Her husband handed her his credit card, and she often went shopping and visited beauty salons to emphasize her beauty. Xavier even spent money on a subscription to a chic gym so that she could maintain her stunning appearance. One day, while perusing the bank statements tied to the card, Xavier noticed a peculiar trend. It appeared that his wife was frequently frequenting a pastry shop, initially once a week, then thrice, and eventually on a daily basis, all around the same time. This was bizarre since his wife was always conscious of her figure, diligently curbing her sweet tooth and even trying to wean Xavier off sugar. Yet here she was, indulging in candy store shopping in the midst of a workday. Xavier decided to take a break and pay a visit to this establishment, armed with the payment details that revealed her routine. And lo and behold, without an iota of doubt, Evelyn showed up right on schedule. There were quite a few customers in the pastry shop. Approaching the young cashier, she started a casual conversation, as if they had known each other for ages. Xavier felt a surge of jealousy and quickly followed her inside. "Hi, honey, did you come in for a treat?" he asked loudly, clearly making it clear that he was here. He walked up to the astonished Evelyn and hugged her, clearly claiming his rights. The cashier, who seemed friendly a moment ago, suddenly stopped his chatter and continued sorting through the items. "How about we grab something to go and take a stroll? I've got half an hour to kill," Xavier suggested to Evelyn. With some hesitation, she agreed, and he quickly ushered her out of the store. Later, he asked if she frequented the place often, to which she replied that it was her first visit. She fibbed, looking him straight in the eye, seemingly reliant on his trust and oblivious to the fact that her lie sowed seeds of doubt about her faithfulness. This deceit firmly implanted in Xavier's mind that he would uncover the whole truth and catch her in the act. Driven by jealousy, Xavier had initially confronted the situation head-on, but he was determined not to repeat that blunder. A few days marched on, and he returned to the same candy shop, this time selecting a discreet vantage point. Just as if nothing had transpired, Evelyn showed up again, coinciding with the young cashier's shift. But this time it was during the lunch rush. Xavier caught sight of his wife making eyes at the cashier. "What a piece of work," he muttered under his breath, seething silently. Here's what happened next. The man locked the door from the inside, and both he and Evelyn disappeared deeper into the room. Xavier was stunned by Evelyn's audacity. Instantly, he recalled every warning his friends had given him, urging him not to tie the knot with her, bluntly stating that her affection was purely financial. He had brushed off their advice, never truly accepting it until now, witnessing it firsthand. Now everything was crystal clear, and he firmly resolved to stop being her cash cow and to snatch away her silver spoon, taking the sweetness out of her life. After a tense 20 minutes, he shot her a text, suggesting she indulge in some retail therapy, specifically reminding her of the pricey dress she had ogled in the local boutique, but never tried on. "The card's loaded. Go treat yourself," he messaged. Soon enough, Evelyn exited the sweet shop, cheerfully bidding her lover farewell with a kiss, and headed eagerly for the boutique. She piled up her cart with heaps of costly outfits and strutted confidently to the checkout. The cashier started scanning the items, and when it came time to pay, Evelyn pulled out her husband's prized card. But to her shock, it didn't work, not the first time, and not the third. The cashier informed her there weren't enough funds available. Disbelieving, Evelyn assumed it was just a technical glitch. Meanwhile, other customers were getting impatient, pressuring her to speed things up. In a state of panic, the wife frantically dialed her husband's number. After 5 unsuccessful attempts, Evelyn could no longer contain her anger. "What's wrong with you? Not in the mood for shopping?" she snapped sarcastically when he finally picked up the phone. "Are you kidding me? Hand over the money right now," she growled fiercely into the receiver. Her husband's response only added fuel to the fire. "Let me congratulate you on being homeless, thanks to your affair. Did you really think I wouldn't find out?" he sneered. Evelyn's anger intensified, and she began to threaten him, insisting that she would take half of everything he owned. She warned Xavier to think carefully about what he was getting into. But her threats were not heeded, as her husband grinned, knowing full well that all his possessions had been acquired before their wedding, leaving her with nothing. She didn't seem to be paying attention to this fact. Then, in an act of retaliation, he canceled all the subscriptions he had purchased for her, leaving her to fend for her own beauty needs. He also wasted no time filing for divorce, showing little hesitation. Evelyn attempted to change tactics and spoke more tenderly to her husband, but it was too late. She had already revealed her true colors. Before getting married, Evelyn had enjoyed the company of friends, but they had all moved away, leaving her alone without a job or any financial support. Unable to afford an apartment, she begrudgingly returned to her parents' home, waiting for her next unsuspecting victim. Certainly, Xavier was dismayed to have erred so gravely in his initial choice of a spouse. Yet this misstep made him warier of women who displayed an overt fascination with his wealth right off the bat.